always give my phone.
Court is in session with Ryan in Sacktown on If You Don't Like That. Now, Ryan in Sacktown.
Oh, must be Rhino.
You're freaking neck.
Roll up those sleeves to your freaking necks. The Kings are stepping onto the main stage of the NBA, 8th Avenue, West 31st Street, Madison Square Garden. De'Aaron Fox, game time decision. He intends to play. Josh Hart, also a game time decision. Everybody else for the Knicks out as expected. So we'll talk about it here in a little bit. We'll let you know what we think the Knicks are going to try to do offensively. We've got the debut of Ryno's whiteboard. We're going to go over that and much more. We'll hear from Coach Christie after the Nuggets loss and much more. Get up in here. If you want to be a part of the show, you can call it. You can also get involved in the chat. Kings-Knicks pregame coming at you next on If You Don't Like That.
Needs to be more aggressive on the offensive end, but this is the kind of
Williams, the D-Mark.
Fox. Goodbye. Oh, if you don't like.
The Sabaka Roar takes main stage tonight in New York. What's up? We are back indeed. Buggy, what's up, dude? How you doing tonight? Wish Fox would sit out. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. Fox usually shows up on the big stage. Like him or love him, the Kings need him. They need him tonight. The Knicks, we've talked actually a lot on the Kings court about the Kings' kryptonite sometimes being spread out on defense. That's what New York does to you. We'll get to the whiteboard in a bit. How's everybody doing? Staying safe? Has the weekend been? Where you watching from? Let me know. We're leading you up to Kings and Knicks here in a little bit. Important for the Kings not to let this turn into a two-game slide. I would love to see the Kings get this one tonight. Coming into this road trip, we knew that the Nuggets game was going to be a very difficult ask, especially with the travel. We did not know that De'Aaron Fox was going to sprain his thumb on his right hand, in addition to what's going on with the left hand. He was listed as questionable yesterday. Today, he participated in shoot around. He had a little sleeve over that thumb. He wants to play. His intentions are to play. My guess is he's going to give it a go. So we will keep an eye on that. And also, I keep saying also. I don't know why I keep saying also. Anyways, what I was going to tell you is we knew it was going to be a tough one in Denver. We knew that was going to be hard. But tonight, I said if you could get one of these two, you're sitting good. You're sitting pretty. A lot of NBA action going on today. Kicked off with the second game in Paris. We'll run down the scores as well. You know, Dennis, it's going to be interesting to see if Doug gets into the game. I would not be surprised if Doug gets a rotation before Kevin Huerter. It would not surprise me in this game whatsoever. But if you're relying on Dougie McBuckets to win this one for you, might be a little bit of an issue. The Kings got to get this thing up tempo. The Knicks last played against the Nets. They won by 4, but it was a drag out, low scoring. Nobody scored 100 points. And when the Kings have success against the Knicks, that's what those games usually look like. In fact, one of my favorite games from last season was this one, except it took place at the G1C. Look at that score, 98-91. That type of game, to me, favors the Kings. Believe it or not. I think they're built to be physical. They are built to turn defense into offense. We'll talk about what the Knicks do on offense here in a little bit. I've got that pulled up on the whiteboard because, like I said, spreading you out, that's what they're going to try to do. And Jalen Brunson, in fact, New York, 2 starters for the All-Star game, Catmate, and also Jalen Brunson. They will be starting. Oh, we're going wrestling. Adam, your segment was yesterday, my man. Your segment was yesterday. This is not the Saturday's main event pregame show, dude. Come on, Adam.
That's terrible.
Keep up with us, Adam. Keep up with us. Kevin has just not been playing well. Period. End of story. So last year, when the Kings played the Knicks at the G1C, it was, to me, a really fun game. It was physical. It had everything in it that reminded you of 80s, 90s Kings basketball. If the score starts getting a little bit higher today, I don't know how I feel about that. Now, here you go. This is what the Knicks did last game against the Nets. You can see they only got up 87 shots. The Kings are going to want to get out and run. The Knicks, although their pace tells you otherwise, they like to kind of slow it down in the half court. And really the key to stopping the Knicks tonight is going to be dribble penetration. Dribble penetration is what the Kings have to worry about because Cat likes to play on the perimeter, and the Knicks will go with a 5-out look, meaning all 5 of their offensive players are outside of the 3-point line. We'll give you the line really quick. That has been updated to 4.5, still is 4.5 there. Like I said, De'Aaron Fox plans to play. He's listed as a game time decision. That might be updating any second. But as for the Knicks, everybody is out except Josh Hart. Josh Hart is still a game time decision. So we'll get into that. De'Aaron, what's going to happen tonight with him if he plays? What's Doug going to be looking for? I think one thing is certainly pretty obvious. How much are you going to be able to rely on De'Aaron Fox for ball handling tonight? Can he be effective with a sprained finger on his right hand, his thumb, and his pinky on his shooting hand, which is a little bit different? Last 3 games for him, he has been shooting the ball 25 for 63. 25 for 63. So you got to think that shooting streak starts to get better. You got to think the drought comes to an end and maybe there's some floods, but I think it needs to be somewhere in the middle. The Kings play their best basketball and the ball is moving around the perimeter and they are not settling for 3-pointers. So we'll see what happens. Doug Christie talked about the Kings' performance in Denver after the game 2 nights ago. Here's what Doug had to say.
First half got a little away from us. Obviously, a 40-point quarter is not what we want, but that's the type of fight and resiliency that we want. And talking to them is like, listen, if we fight and we're resilient in that way, the byproduct of most nights in this association will be a win. And if it's not, you're giving yourselves a chance to win. So from that standpoint, I don't like to lose, but it's part of it.
Doug, what'd you make of the big ebbs and flows in the energy tonight? Obviously, we're on the second night of a back-to-back, but there were stretches where you guys had it and then stretches where maybe it wasn't there.
Yeah, it's part of our game. Like we also have to recognize that our opponent is really good. Like they have some dudes over there that can play at a high level. They know how to play. They're extremely well coached. And when you put all that together, you got a hill to climb. But our guys were ready for the fight. Like I said, it didn't. And that happens here sometimes, early on they get running, and that's part of what they do is their transition game is at a high level. They want to get out and run, create some easy buckets. Then all of a sudden the threes start flowing, playing through Jokic, you get your easy back doors. But the fight that our guys continue to show, continue to fight all the way to the end, that's what I expect out of them. And I believe that that's what they're expecting out of themselves, even more so.
Okay. And one of the dudes they have is obviously the 3-time MVP.
Yeah.
Monster numbers from him tonight. Just what can you say about his performance, the ridiculous buzzer beater, and just what he's like to contend with?
He's a special player, very poised. It goes along with what he does. I mean, and Domas, incredible numbers. He almost had a triple-double. So that's a crazy battle right there. And tonight, they got the better end of the battle. We will lick our wounds, and we will be ready to fight when we see them again. We'll be ready to go. But hats off to Jokic. I mean, he's a special talent, and I know for our guys at least, what you like is you always want to test yourself against the best. That's part of what it is.
So a couple interesting points here. I don't know. I guess Sabonis is a little bit of a bad matchup for Cat. Sabonis has had his way with Cat at times. Precious Achua, he is athletic. He might be a little bit of a problem for the Kings. The Knicks are way more athletic than the Kings are. They are much more athletic than them. Josh Hart, he's a hell of a rebounding guard. So I don't know if I agree across the board. We're going to look at that in a second. This will very well be a good defensive lineup. Now, Devin Carter, to me, has been forcing things offensively. Like, he looks like he's sped up all of the sudden. I hope Doug or somebody has gotten in his ear a little bit, because we don't need Devin Carter's offense. His offense is an added plus. It's the defense this team needs right now, and he can do that with his eyes closed. He was born to play defense. He's got that dog in him. He gets his enjoyment from that. It gives the team energy. Same thing as Keon Ellis. Remember when Keon was asked a couple of weeks ago? It's like, would you rather hit the game-winning three or get that steal and a dunk? Like, and he's like, dude, I love defense. It was the first thing that came out of his mouth. So let's go. And by the way, this is allowable. I'm going to allow it, because my guy is a loyal dude on the channel. Love him to death, Patrick. I'm putting it up because you are legit Knicks fans, or you live in Long Island. Fair enough, my man. We'll see. You want to put something on it, Patrick? Thanks for the quick line. I know you're out of town right now. Let's go to the whiteboard. Who was it yesterday? Somebody, Tristan, my man, Tristan. When you guys drop us super chats, and we always appreciate them. They are never necessary, but they are always appreciated. Thank you. We put them back into the channel. So we've been trying to do some new things, some new improvements. This is one I've been wanting to do for a while, and we can do it now. It is Rhino's whiteboard. Here we go. So this is the Knicks standard offensive set. So Jalen Brunson brings the ball up court. What you're looking at is a picture where Jalen Brunson has made the first pass off the wing to Mikal Bridges. So right there, Bridges is going to go straight to Karl Anthony Towns most times. And this is where it gets tricky. He's going to pass the ball here. Bridges is going to cut through the lane. Now, the Knicks can run a few different sets based off of that. But what this creates now is a two-man game between Cat. Cat will either look to see if Brunson wants to go backdoor possibly before passing him the ball, or he'll pass Brunson the ball here, and it becomes a two-man game. Way out on the wing, and look at everybody else. You don't have a big inside. You don't have one. So it's a 5-out set, meaning these guys could cut at any time. You're susceptible for the drives. That's why I say the on-ball defense is really important. Sometimes instead of Brunson taking that screen, Cat will just go backdoor just like that. So there's a lot of different things the Knicks can do out of that set. That's their standard set. That's why that on-ball defense, the pick and roll defense, is going to be so damn important to what the Kings do tonight. Now let's look at another set that the Knicks run. Let's pull up the next image for us, please. So here's your next set that the Knicks like to run. It's a modified look at what we like to call horns action. So what you're looking at is Karl Anthony Towns up top with the ball, or excuse me, you've got your big Precious Achua up here. You've got your ball handler, Jalen Brunson. They can do so many things here. They will set the pick and roll very, very high, which is why communication, blowing it up is really important. But from here, there's a couple of things the Knicks will do. This guy, Precious, he might not set the screen. Precious might just do what we talked about with Cat. He might just cut back door. Cutting back door, big deal. You've got some help there. You have to be ready for it. That's like a 1 in 15 play if you watch the Knicks. So He could just cut back door. But here's the tricky thing that the Knicks do. He will set this screen right here for Brunson. Brunson will come off this screen, but what that big man will do here, he'll just pivot around and he'll set another screen right here when you don't see it coming, which really blows up your help defense sometimes. Again, you have to communicate at a very, very high level. So Brunson can come screen and then screen again and straight down the middle. That gives you both of these guys to possibly kick out to. So the three-point shooting, super important for the Kings tonight. We're going to look at another set that the Knicks do here in just a little bit as we get you ready for this one tonight. The whiteboard, a new added touch to the channel. So hopefully you like it. We can keep going through some of these. Yeah, the high screens for sure. They love those high screens, and you have to watch out for that secondary screen. That secondary screen can be a very big problem with the big man. He will just swing around and set the second one again on somebody. Thank you, Progressive. Appreciate that very much. In fact, we're going to probably pull up another one for you guys really quick. Let me know where you're watching the show from tonight. I would like to know. We got Patrick in Long Island. Where else is everybody chilling from tonight? How are you watching? All right, let's look a little bit more about what Doug Christie had to say after the game. We'll get our next visual set up in the meantime. Doug Christie talking about Fox. I think this is important. We're going to look at some Knicks stats as well, but talking about his concern level with Foxy. He ain't concerned.
Within 5 at the end of that game, how pleased or proud are you of the guys for getting there?
Yeah, very, very pleased, but that's obviously not the outcome that we want. We don't use excuses of the back-to-back and the altitude and the number across the chest of however many feet we're up at sea level and all that. It's part of what it is. I've been here, I've played, you get a second win and all of a sudden you're good. And I thought that we burned through that and, we started to find our way a little bit. But you gotta give them credit. They're at home, they're playing at a really high level right now. And we ran into a bit of a buzzsaw and we didn't back away. That was part of my message into them. We do not back up. We do not step to the side. We go forward every time, regardless of the opponent.
Fox, we know Fox is dealing with the pinky on the left hand. Seems like something's going on with the right hand too, maybe the thumb. What can you say about that?
I haven't had a chance to see. I know medical, if that is, they will be looking at him and I will get a report on it. But right now, he's Fox. So I'm not really, I don't worry about it. I hear a lot of stuff. I don't worry about him the same way a lot of people do. When he breaks through, he'll be fine. He's going to continue to be the gravity that we need as a special player. He understands how to draw double teams, get off the rock, help your teammates defensively. There are ways to impact the game. And again, for me, what he does not get equated by the box score. He does so much more.
Anything else for Coach?
Coach, a little bit more about the fight that you're talking about. How does this resiliency that, trying to come back from that deficit really bring this team together amidst that type of adversity?
It's difficult sometimes because you're on the road, you're facing good teams. Like there are a lot of different things that go against you. And these are the times, like I love being on the road because it's time for us to come together. It's a time for us to fight like this. It's a time for us to learn about each other. It's a time for us to find our footing in a way that if you want to be good in this league, it's an absolute must. You got to go on the road and you got to make things happen. And I think games like this, moments like this, regardless of the outcome, continue to bolster their mindset about who they are and who they can be. And to me, that's everything.
So here's a look with the second unit. When Jalen Brunson is off the court, you've got Josh Hart on the point, basically. It's the same concept of a two-man game. A couple things that can happen here. Cat is either going to pass Hart the ball and Hart will have Cat cut right back door and pass it back to him. Or the other thing that will happen is he gives him the ball. So the ball comes here, Cat comes to set the screen, Hart comes around, and again, Cat circles back around. And from this point, this is what they like to do. Instead of setting that second screen here, Cat's going to come around, act like he wants to set the screen, but instead he's going to slip to the hoop. So the Kings, why I say the on-ball defense tonight, it's going to be everything for this team. It's going to be so important for them. Can they find a way to push them out? Can they guard without fouling? Are they going to be able to target De'Aaron and the finger issues? And the important thing about that with the finger issues, it's the pushing game. It's the hand placement game. And if there's a certain number of guards in the league that becomes really key for in terms of guarding them, it's Jalen Brunson's, it's your Luka Doncic's. So tonight, how is Fox going to be able to do that? Also, hands up, deflections. Is that going to be a problem? Is he going to be hesitant to use his hands? I would say this, if I'm Doug Christie and it ain't looking right, I would rely more on the other guys. The guys are a plus 17.5 in 3 games without Foxy. If Foxy's cooking, let him cook. But Fox is going to have to pick and choose his places very carefully offensively. But the big matchup for me tonight is Sabonis and Cat. There's no way around it. It is Sabonis and Cat. And here's the other guy that's going to get some time on Cat. It's Keegan Murray is going to get some time on Cat as well on some switches. So how the Kings navigate that tonight is going to be absolutely everything, because again, you've got a lot of basketball going on in the Western Conference as we sit right now. We'll get you some scores in a little bit. And the Kings don't want to go into Brooklyn. They really don't want to go into Brooklyn losing 2 in a row. You want to stop that bleeding as soon as possible as we bring you back in and get to your comments, getting you ready tonight for the Kings and the Knicks from New York City. Always fun when the Kings get to go to New York. And no Robinson tonight. He is not playing. There you go. Do you choose Chase Brunny around the screens, or do you go under? Dude, $1 million question, Donald. Here's where I think the Kings are going to have to make a living. It's going to be switching their looks up defensively. And when I mean switching them up, it's doing it on the fly. So whether you're putting a different guy on Brunson, I don't think, actually, I know it's going to be really hard for the Kings to have reds tonight, which are switches, just straight out switches. I don't think this is a team you can really do that with. But the zone defense could be effective if they are not handling the on-ball defense very well. I look for Doug to maybe kick to some zone, do something different, but I would say you're probably not going under Brunson. You can't go under Brunson. If he's in the gym, he's in range. So you just got to navigate it. And that's what makes the Knicks such a difficult matchup. And that's why, too, the Kings they absolutely have to do their best to limit the Knicks to 1 and done on the offensive boards. Something the Kings were doing really well in their winning streak. What do the Knicks do particularly well? They do a lot well. 6th in the league in 3-point shooting. Total rebounding, not a great rebounding team for us, how athletic they are. The thing about that is it's because they like to shoot some threes. They can shoot some threes. It depends on the night, depends on the style. Although it says they're 25th in the league in attempts, they are not shy. Pretty much everybody on the court, now that the Knicks have Cat, can shoot the 3-ball. So the Kings have to be cognizant of that. I think the rebounding is low for them for one reason, because there's a lot of long rebounds. Those are tough to project. How are they going to come off? How are they not going to come off? I go back to this. Pace is going to be everything in this game. Can the Kings force some turnovers? If you look at blocks, the Knicks are 28th in blocks. I think the Kings have a distinct advantage in the paint tonight with Domas. Cat does not like to play down low. In fact, I don't think there's really a guy on the Knicks roster that can bang with Sabonis down low. So that's why it's really important for him not to get in foul trouble, and it's really important to feed the beast. I think this is a game, whether he starts on the perimeter and he goes outside in or inside out, it's got to be a combination of both of those for them to be successful tonight. This is not a game where the Kings can rely on the three ball. Even if they get a hot start with the three ball, you have got to play through Sabonis tonight. You give the Knicks a dose of your own or their own medicine with the pick and roll. Cat is not a good defender. Cat has 2 left feet when it comes to being on the perimeter. So I am looking a lot for that with Malik Monk. I think you can also have some good opportunities to do it possibly with Keegan Murray as well. So we'll see what they end up doing as we get closer and closer to game time. Fox looking like he's going to play 4.5. 4.5 is going to be the spread tonight. The Kings should look at this as a revenge game since they won last time. You know, that one game at Golden One Center last year, to me, that was one of the games that changed the rule in the NBA about being able to challenge out of bounds plays, because there was a play that really kind of cost the Kings the game where Malik was clearly shoved out of bounds, but the refs did the old school thing. They didn't call the foul. They gave the Kings the ball, but then the Knicks challenged and it was clearly off Malik. So not only can you not correct the foul, you have to call the ball out on Malik, and the Kings lost that possession because last year in that game, it was like a playoff game. It was every possession matters. We talked about it on the Kings court yesterday, that it was watching like postseason baseball, where if the other team has the ball, you're just praying that the rebound comes down and the Kings get it back. You are engaged because every single time these teams have gotten together in the past, or at least the past 4 times, it's been that type of game. Do you think the Kings maybe slow down in the first quarters to avoid these terrible 40-point starts? Look, I don't know how to avoid the 40-point starts. I think what Doug Christie is opting for, your best defensive lineup as we come back out, we'll take down the board really quick. Let's go to this graphic right here. Your best defensive lineup to me is having Keon on the court with Malik Monk. Now, Malik sometimes is not a great defender, but those two will work really well together. You know who works even better together? It's Keon and Keegan. That is a very good defensive lineup to have on the court. And that was the lineup that you had on the court for those 3 games where they were plus 17.5. And in those 3 games, teams did not get out to big starts. They didn't. The Kings had that pressure defense from the beginning. So I think it's really important for Doug Christie to draw up whatever he's going to draw up to get a good game plan between Malik and De'Aaron to start the game. Because the 40-point quarters are not so much what the other teams are doing. It's lack of pressure from the Kings defensively. You're getting that defensive bump. In fact, I would argue, much like back in the days, Bobby Jackson gave you the offensive bump as the 6th man. The style of the game changes. That's why we've seen the Kings go on these runs in the second quarters. We've seen the Kings go on runs late in the third quarters. It's because when Keon Ellis's feet hit the floor, the style of basketball changes. And it also frees up Malik Monk. It frees up De'Aaron Fox. It frees up those guys that aren't great on ball to be help defenders, something they do much better. So I don't think we see a 40-point quarter, especially because the Kings are rested, but we'll see. Anything's possible. But look, the Kings like to play in New York City. Everybody likes to play on the grand stage of Madison Square Garden, New York City. Grant said it a couple days ago that attack Fox, absolutely attack the paint. Tonight. That is what it's going to have to be. But the Kings like to play on the big stage. De'Aaron Fox, historically, as Grant said, likes to play on the big stage. It's it. That's what NBA players talk about. De'Aaron Fox officially available for the game. He is off the injury report, so he is in for you tonight. You know who else should be in for you tonight? That's a New York prime steak from Bennett's. Go check out one of their 3 locations here in the greater Sacramento area, Roseville, Rockland, Howe and Fair Oaks. Prime cuts of seafood and steak. Also on the weekends, they've got excellent prime rib. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, weekend brunch also at all 3 locations. Before I came to air, my wife's like, "Are we going to Bennett's tomorrow?" And I'm thinking about it. Is there any reason not to go to Bennett's? You check the first thing on the list? No. Hell yes. We'll be at Bennett's tomorrow for brunch. Go to bennettsrestaurants.com. Check out everything that they have to offer, whether it's the brunch menu, their incredible specials that run all throughout the week and the weekend, or great for groups. If you have a group of 10, 12, 14, you want to have your own space and not just a couple of tables shoved together, they've got beautiful private dining rooms, each location that they can put you in. What I'm saying, go check them out. Many of you have already, and we thank you very much for that. Sorry, trigger warning, gonna make you hungry. It's almost dinner time. So my bad for this. Bennett's prime seafood and steak. Go to bennettsrestaurants.com. Oh my gosh, I am getting hungry just looking at that. Also, want to tell you about one of our newest sponsors in part on the channel. That's Envision. Envision Web Design. They are freaking awesome. Max and his team have worked with Grant and I for the last 2.5 years, and they are there on a drop of a dime. Hey, if you already have a website, why not call Max and get a free consultation and let him tell you how he can make your website work better? If you're looking to take your online presence to the next level, Envision Design specializes in creating stunning custom websites that don't just look great, but deliver results, whether you need a sleek, mobile, responsive SEO optimization to boost your search rankings or an advanced feature like e-commerce integration. Envision Web Design has got you covered. They're dedicated to helping businesses like you stand out and attract more customers. Book a free consultation at envisionwebdesign.com and let Max and the Envision team bring your vision to life. Again, free consultation. What's it got to lose? Give Max a call right there, 916-905-4293. Big thanks to Envision for sponsoring the pregame show in part tonight, along with Bennett's. All right, what's your final scores? Where are you guys going tonight? What do you think happens? 4.5 point spread. The Knicks 14-8 on their home court. Kings still 500 on the road, over 500, 10-9 on the road. Doug Christie has talked about the importance of growing on the road together, learning on the road together. The Kings got to come back from this one over 500. To me, that is incredibly important. Let's run down the scoreboard really quick. The Celtics right now taking on the Mavericks, and they are actually doing the Kings a favor. They're up 77-63 as we sit in the third quarter, just under 5 minutes left there. The Heat and the Nets are at halftime. The Heat lead 53-49. Pelicans and Hornets just tipped off 9-5 Hornets. Pistons, Magic just tipped off as well. That one 4-2. We got the games that we've talked about before over in Paris. The Pacers get their win back. They blow out the Spurs 136-98. And how about this score? The Timberwolves beat the Nuggets. How about that? The Timberwolves look good today, 133-104. Rob Dillingham was shooting the ball well in the first half for them. So it's about that time. Remember, the Knicks, not like it really matters, but they have 2 starters on the All-Star team for the East in Brunson and Cat. I'm a little surprised that Karl Anthony Towns is a starter on the All-Star team this year. That's a really interesting one to me. Yeah, you know what? I respect it. It's all good. It's all good. But let me ask you a question. How are you going to deal with Sabonis, New York? Have you guys seen, I think the guy's name is Basketball Genius or Basketball Jesus. And he's like this bald older dude. And he's got all these shorts on YouTube. He's like an old school New York Park baller. And like anytime he makes a basket, I'm here in New York. I'm here in New York. You got to go check this dude out. He is hilarious. Anyways, but how are you going to deal with Sabonis? I want to know. Cat can't deal with Sabonis. The Kings have had much success. Sabonis has had much success on Cat in the past. So you're taking the tub? What's the tub? You guys talking about Kevin Huerter? Tay, thanks for the score. 117-103. Taking the dub. All right. Yeah, I get it. How you going to deal with it? Nick Pride. Look at this coming in here. Talking about all these Knicks. Come on. All right. Give me your scores. We're going to wrap this thing up, get you out. Sabonis will do what he does best. Absolutely. How are you going to deal with Karl Anthony Towns? Really easy. Super easy. Push him around. Something he doesn't like. Dude doesn't like contact. You deal with him by showing him different looks. You deal with him by getting your hands up, and you also deal with him by not letting him put the ball on the floor. Don't let him put it on the floor. Just don't. And I'm not saying that because I want it to go the Kings' way. I'm saying that for him. It's embarrassing when he puts the ball on the floor. It's kind of scary, actually. Go look it up on YouTube. Just go look it up there. It's a trap. 121-10 Kings. Huerter 5 minutes. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be getting a lot of minutes tonight. I don't. But that's the thing. This is, again, I said it in New York. It's so important tonight that Keegan Murray have a good game. And the other guy that needs to really have a good game is Devin Carter. Doug's got to show a little bit more faith in Devin, and Devin's got to slow it down a couple notches offensively and just go out and do what he does defensively. If he does that, similar to what he did in Boston, think about this, a little bit of an East Coast homecoming to a degree for Devin. I know he went to school in Rhode Island, but he's back on the East Coast, not as spread out as we are in California. Maybe that's going to be good for him. Who knows? But he's got to play a big role in what the Kings do tonight defensively. You have to, especially with Fox's hands dinged up, both hands dinged up. And, Doug's going to have to look at that carefully with Fox because defensively, that is what I'm worried about. It's the defense. How active, how comfortable is Fox going to be putting his hands in there to get those balls, to deflect those balls, to tap them out from behind, the stuff that Fox has always been really good at. And what enables Fox to be in those positions to do that stuff is when you have guys guarding the basketball well. So that's why it starts with Monkey. That's why it starts with Keon. That's why it starts with anybody like Devin. They've got to play really good on-ball defense on the perimeter because we've shown you some of the graphics. We've gone to the whiteboard. The Knicks want to spread you out. They play that 5-out defense, and you got to be careful because they will go back door on you as well. They like the sprays. So a lot going on for the Kings, but no doubt it's going to be such a fun game to watch. It's going to be a really fun game to watch tonight. Always is when you are in New York City. Kings-Knicks getting ready to tip off here in just a couple of minutes. Don't forget, y'all, the one, the only Jerry Reynolds joins me at the half. Looking forward to talking with Jerry. We'll break down the first 24 minutes. We'll give you some keys to the second half. And then also we'll get Jerry's prediction for the final score. And we'll get you in here as well in the chat. Grant's not going to be here at halftime. It'll be Jerry and I. So I like to get you involved when Grant's not here. So make sure that you show back up. We'll get interactive with you. Jerry loves hearing from you guys and going back and forth. So guys and gals, I should say. So join us at the half, and then Grant will be there for the post-game show. Napes and I wrap it up tonight, hopefully talking about a beam. King getting back on the winning track and going 500 on the first two games of this East Coast swing. So that's about it for now. Again, on-ball defense, rebounding, so important. Those are the two big keys for me. And then Fox, what's he going to be able to do? The Kings will not score in the game. Oh, really? The Kings are not going to score in the game. What do you want to put on that?
That's terrible.
You think the Kings will not score in the game. You know, man, I was having fun with you. I was letting you do your Knicks thing. But when you come in and put stupid stuff like that,
Cannot win with him. Cannot coach with him. Can't do it.
you think the Kings are going to be the first team in NBA history never to score? Come on. You think the Knicks are that good? Yeah. Bye, troll. Peace. Have a good one. Have a good one, my man. Furious Fox is still solid on defense. Hey, all I said, I agree. His defense has been fine the last few games since he's gone 25 of 63 from the field. I mean, I think if I'm Doug Christie, if I'm De'Aaron Fox, I'm not thinking three-pointers. I'm thinking about getting to the hoop. And the way they can do that is quick passes, backdoor cuts. He doesn't have to have the ball in his hands. Get him into the paint. Get him going from there. See a couple of balls go through the hoop, and that will make a difference for Foxy. But again, the thing that I worry about on defense, although I think he's solid, I worry about how much he's going to be able to get his hands in there. Is he going to be reluctant to get into the fray, to put his hands near the ball where you might get slapped away? That stuff's going to be the things that I'm looking for. So, all right, we are back at the half. Can't wait. Kings are going to cook. Oh, my God, dude. You are a clown, my man. I love how our chat handles people like that. Yeah, 73 points. Get out of here, bro. Flores, somebody I respect. I think, here's my take. First team to 100 wins. If it's the Kings, they win the game. If it's the Knicks, they win the game. That's what I'm going with. If it's a high-scoring game, I got to lean towards the Knicks. But we'll see. Coming up at the half, Jerry Reynolds right back with me talking about the first 24 minutes of this one. Thanks for being here. We'll also go back to the drawing board, probably post-game show. We won't do that with Jerry unless we could get Jerry to do the drawing board. Maybe we'll get Jerry to do that. But appreciate everybody being here. Go Kings. Light the damn beam.
Light the beam. Light it.
Break them down, coach.
You know, Arco Arena had its own.
Wrong one, coach. Coach, we don't want to hear about Arco Arena. We wanted you to break us down. Can you break the show down, coach? Need you, coach. You got it? Good job, coach.
That's big time shit. Together on three, y'all. 1, 2, 3.
Together. There we go. We'll see you after the first 24 minutes with Jerry Reynolds.